Yeah, so our focus for half a century has been on the process, not on the outcomes. That we teach couples the skills to find their own answers. And that's why our program has been appropriate for people of all stages of life, all backgrounds, all perspectives, all beliefs, because we're not there to tell somebody what to do. We're there to give them a process and a structure for a couple or an individual to find their own answers.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Coalition for Marriage YouTube channel. It's a real joy today to be talking to Seth Eisenberg. Seth is the president and CEO of the Pairs Foundation Inc. And this is a US based company that run an online AI driven marriage guidance, counseling, etc. service. I'm fascinated to know what that is and how it works. So, Seth, it's a real joy to have you. Obviously, as the Coalition for Marriage, we're very interested in men and women getting married, but not just that, but men and women staying married. And sometimes that needs a little help and guidance. How did you get into this, Seth?
I got into this because my mother started it. My mother, when her marriage to my father was breaking up in the early 1960s, not long after I was born, set out on a journey to try to, first of all, to try to save her marriage to my father, which did not happen. But then she spent decades searching for all the answers of what could have made a difference in her life and what could make a
Wow.
difference in others.
Mm.
And she ended up creating the world's most comprehensive course on love and intimacy, which she called Pairs. And she started it as a graduate program at American University in Washington, D.C., for future counseling, for future counselors and therapists. And then she found that when she taught this course to the public, people became their own therapists, that the most effective thing she could do to help people was to give them the skills to find their own answers. So so I was always very impressed with my mother's work and wanted to continue her legacy. She passed away in 2019, but for many years we really enjoyed working together and creating these programs and reaching countless people across the globe.
Sounds fantastic.
It
And
is. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. And how long has it been up and running? The
Uh,
electronic version now, the
the
app?
electronic version has really been up just since December.
Really?
So we're
So
approaching
very new.
our 1 year anniversary,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're still developing it. We're looking for resources so that we can expand it, and we hope that sometime in the coming year we'll have a budget so that we can continue to improve it. But it works very, very well right now, and I can't more enthusiastically encourage your listeners to go online and look for the Yodi Relationship Coach by Pairs and give it a try and share your feedback with us.
Well, we will give it a very good push because there's it's great that people get married. It's great that people stay married, and a great part of that is, like you say, helping with those relationship skills that sadly we don't learn enough of when we're young.
So I read that you implemented a cooling off period, something like a 20-week cooling off period when somebody files for a divorce. Are you finding that during that cooling off period that couples are choosing to reconcile?
It's too early to say. I don't think the analysis has been done yet. I haven't seen any analysis.
Because that's going to be very interesting because one of
Yeah.
the most important things to help a couple who's going through a crisis is time itself.
Yep.
Um, some of the research that really spoke to me years ago was that the worst thing to do to save a marriage was to go to a therapist.
Right.
That was often the fastest track to divorce,
Oh, that's really
and
interesting.
and that was somewhat counterintuitive, but that's what the research showed, that somehow the focus on of therapy on, well, what's going to make you happy today, uh, really conflicted with the kinds of long-term happiness and fulfillment that came from a very happy, satisfying marriage, which goes through natural ups and downs. The natural ebbs and flows of love and intimacy. And that's a big part of what we've been doing. Our foundation, the Pairs Foundation, started in 1983, and Pairs stands for Practical Application of Intimate Relationship Skills. And what we have found over the last half century is that the challenge is that very few people ever had a chance to learn the skills to create and sustain successful relationships. And that it's not that the skills are very difficult to learn, it's just that they're not taught in school. We go to school for reading, writing, and arithmetic. Unless we grew up in a home with two parents who could model the kind of marriage that we want for ourselves, very few of us grew up with examples for our own lives. So the big challenge that we have in the world when it comes to marriage and family, it's not a lack of desire. It's not that people are inherently, broken or something. It's incompetence, that we are facing epidemics of incompetence when it comes to how do you build and sustain healthy, lasting, mutually rewarding, pleasurable relationships. So we've been teaching programs across the world, including with the Spectrum Center there in London for many years, on the practical application of intimate relationship skills. What we recognize is that we weren't scratching the surface of the need. So last year we developed an app called Yodi, Yodi, Y-O-D-I, so that anyone anywhere on the planet who wants to learn the skills for creating and sustaining successful marriages can go online at no cost, completely private, completely anonymous. They can download Yodi from either the App Store or Google Play, and they can learn skills to master communication, to improve their ability to deal with conflict and differences, to develop a very high level of emotional literacy, because it's that triad of healthy, effective communication skills, conflict resolution skills, and emotional literacy skills that we have found is most important to providing the foundation for lasting, successful marriages. That when you have people who have those skills, they have the competency to navigate pretty much whatever challenges they face. But without those skills, the smallest challenges can become overwhelming.
So that's really interesting because on one hand you're saying therapy is a bad idea, but then you're saying, well, look, actually, you do need. There are some skills that you could be made aware of, which you probably haven't got, which are a really good idea. So, is that saying, look, the therapists aren't very good at imparting the skills, or join those two up for me?
I think it depends on the therapist you choose. The decision you make when your marriage is on the rocks about who you're going to see. You want a therapist that has a track record. You want a therapist that is very, very deeply based on evidence-based approaches, and a therapist that ideally is committed to the success of a relationship and recognizes that there's either everybody wins or everybody loses, but you can't have one winner and one loser without everybody losing.
I read something about the use of AI. I mean, first of all, well done for providing the tool set, which will take that web address, we'll publish it for our supporters, and hopefully they'll use it and pass it on to other people as well. Because
Wonderful.
it's very hard to get good online resources these days, especially free. It's almost, it's very difficult. So that's marvelous, first of all. But then I read something about you using AI, which kind of made me think, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to talk to Seth about that. So tell us a little bit about the use of AI.
Oh, Yodi is built on cutting edge AI. It's the AI that made it possible. One of the challenges people have when it comes to learning relationship skills is not having an exercise partner, because sometimes couples are able to do the exercises with each other, but often for one reason or another, someone doesn't have a partner with whom they can do the exercises with at any given moment in time. So what AI made it possible for us to develop is an AI-powered exercise partner. So you can go to Yodi right now, and Yodi, powered by artificial intelligence, will do the daily temperature reading with you, or will do talking tips with you, or will help you empty your emotional jug, and all kinds of other exercises, so that you can learn and master those skills, and then eventually practice them with a partner when you have a partner who's ready and willing.
Right. Oh, that's fascinating. And how much of, because again, we read an awful lot and hear about how AI these days can be a little bit biased, and so it doesn't often come at it from the angle that you might come at it from. So I'm just wondering what sort of AI. How do you know? Because you said, of course, you want a counselor who's really interested in the relationship being fixed, being mended if it can be mended, and not just trying to, you know, separate you if you can be separated, etc. So, how have you made sure that your AI is kind of coded, or I don't want to use words like woke or anything like that, but how do you make sure that it's in the interest of the couple and not in the interest of any kind of ideology?
Yeah, so our focus for half a century has been on the process, not on the outcomes. That we teach couples the skills to find their own answers. And that's why our program has been appropriate for people of all stages of life, all backgrounds, all perspectives, all beliefs, because we're not there to tell somebody what to do. We're there to give them a process and a structure for a couple or an individual to find their own answers. So Yodi is not trained to give advice of any sort. The only assistance that Yodi can provide is helping somebody actually learn a skill. So Yodi can help you learn how to do a daily temperature reading where you share appreciations, new information, concerns with recommendations, puzzles, wishes, hopes, and dreams with an interested partner. But Yodi's not going to tell you what your wishes, hopes, and dreams should be. It's not going to Yodi's not going to tell you how to solve your problems. Yodi's going to give you a structure so that you can find the solutions that work for your unique values, goals, and aspirations.
Great. And what about things like I was very interested to learn. My as I said, I've been married. We're in our 30th year of marriage,
Congratulations.
and we thank you very much. We read a book. We like to read books together. And we also like to read kind of, couples books every now and then. And we were reading a book. I don't know where I came across it. There's one for women only and another one for men only. And it's kind of like a modern version of the whole Mars and Venus thing. That was a big fad a long time ago.
Yeah, John
But
Gray's work.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was very surprised when my wife read the book for women only. She said she discovered a lot of things that she thought, well, I didn't know that at all before. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's really interesting because we're 30 years in, and we seem to be okay. We both seem to be enjoying it. Yet there are fundamental things you didn't know. So I'm just wondering how much of that does the model, the AI model, pick up on that sort of stuff, or is it not really?
The AI model does not get involved in your particular unique issues and circumstance. The AI model is there completely to facilitate the process. So, and that's what a helpful therapist or counselor will do. The idea that any of us is going to tell someone else what the answer should be to their own challenges and conflicts in their life, we all have a hard enough time figuring it out for ourselves. So we've trained the AI not to give answers, but to help you along the process to help you find your own answers.
Great. And have you got? I mean, what in terms of success rates, in terms of usefulness, have you got any metrics?
The only metrics we have are usage. We had in the first few months, we had over 200,000 people from more than 175 different countries
Wow.
download Yoti. And we were going to set it up as a subscription program, but we found that people were just not ready to subscribe to something like this. So we kept it free. We're very happy as a nonprofit to be able to do that. But what's really important to us is that people use it and give us feedback. All someone has to do is go to the website mypairscoach.com. That's the word my followed by pairs, Pairs, coach.com. And there's a link to download either from the App Store or from Google Play. And what we really urge people to do is try it, do the exercises, see what your experience is, send us your feedback. We love to hear from users across the world. We've been particularly touched by users throughout the Middle East and North Africa,
Great.
where the concept of peer relationships is really taking hold in new ways, and it hadn't for forever. Because Yodi is built on a model of peer relationships, and helping people who are equals negotiate fairly.
Marvelous. Seth Eisenberg, it's such a joy to talk to you. I'm very, very grateful that you spared us some time.
Tony, I'm very grateful myself, and it's never too late. Anybody who's open to learning and growing any moment of any day has enormous opportunities to learn and grow, and there's a lot of excitement ahead.
Well, it's a real privilege to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. God bless you. Thank you.